Sri Sachidananda Sadguru Sainath Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Sai Satcharitra, an Insight. Episode-92. My humble prostrations at the lotus feet of our Sadguru Sai. By the divine grace of Sai, an attempt has been made to translate the gist of the divine discourse of Sri Ramanathan brother telecasted in Sai TV. This is purely done to share the glory of Sai and his divine teachings with more insight to the aspirants. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnuhu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Devotees, we are almost at the close of this chapter, and now let us heed to an interesting Leela connected to D.V. Sambari. This person had the habit of smoking and drinking alcohol. He was a young man but was very much addicted to these habits. Though elders at home and others advised him to quit these habits, he never could do that as he was obsessed with it. Once, Baba decided to relieve him from this dangerous habit, hence, he appeared in the dream of Sambari, sat on his chest, and said, Pora kaye karte, means, Boy, what are you doing? Immediately, Sambari promised to abstain from drinking liquor. Though he was addicted to drinking and smoking, he was a man of integrity. Thus, Baba made him to promise as he was sure that Sambari would adhere to it. Now, it was not that easy to keep with this promise. Sambari, from the very next day, rigorously abstained from touching any liquor, but in 2 weeks came a test. The manager of his office was giving a send-off to his children, and Sambari was also one of the invitees. The manager insisted on him taking a peg of whiskey and soda. Sambari pleaded that the doctor had advised him to abstain. He did not mention Baba's name or the dream in such light-hearted company. Somehow, he tried to get an excuse from drinking as Sambari didn't want to break the promise that he made to Baba in his dream about quitting this habit. It was a taxing situation for him. At that point, he got a miraculous help. There was power shortage and the lights went out, so the manager went out to find out what caused this problem. Just then, another invitee by named Mystery, who was next to Sambari, drank off the whiskey from Sambari's glass, and the boss who returned back thought that the glass of drink was consumed by Sambari, complying to his request. Devotees, isn't this amazing? The most compassionate Baba, besides directing us to lead our life in the right path, also saves us from tests and trials and gives us hope and assurance to stick on to our determination, which would ultimately mold our character and help us to lead a virtuous and peaceful life. This blessing of D.V. Sambari had been recorded in devotees' experience by Pujya Sri B.V. Narasimha Swamiji. There was a goldsmith, and his son was also addicted to liquor and was so fierce that he would even go to the extent of threatening to stab with a knife if someone would even counsel him to stop drinking. His father persuaded him to come to Shirdi, but he wouldn't budge. Then somehow he was brought to Shirdi. Even that day he was drunk. After he came and sat in the presence of Sai, he became a more mellow personality. Baba instructed him to stay in Shirdi for another 6 days. To the astonishment of his father, he never drank alcohol on all those 6 days, and there was also no opportunity for cultivating such habits there. And this paved way for him to get completely relieved from this habit. Similarly, there was a devotee by named Shantaram who was also addicted to drinking alcohol, and Baba brought this obsession to an end by making him stay in Shirdi for a stipulated period of time, and eventually Shantaram did quit this habit. There is another interesting Leela narrated by Hemat Panji that explicates one of the greatest philosophies of Baba, that is, right remuneration for labor. From time to time, Baba advocated the right discipline of behavior. Now, let us listen to one such advice which reflects the thought that no one should take the labor of others in vain. These were the days when Baba looked very weak and had to be supported by devotees on his either side, even while he trekked on the streets of Shirdi, either for his begging rounds or for lengthy walk. One hot summer afternoon, suddenly Baba came out of Dwarakamai, and those days mud houses lined up in front of Dwarakamai, and the most ardent devotee of Baba, Radhakrishna Ai, also lived in one of the houses, and another devotee by named Vaman Kondkar was her neighbor, and there were many other houses next to those. Baba slowly managed to walk and stood in front of Radhakrishna Ai's house. As usual, few devotees accompanied him, and Baba instructed them to get a ladder immediately. None could understand the reason, and in no time a ladder was brought by Venku Kamblekar. Baba placed it against the wall of Vaman Kondkar's house. Everyone were puzzled as they did not know what was Baba's plan. Baba, who was unable to even walk on the road without help, now to the amazement of all, rapidly climbed up to the roof. Then he crossed the roof of Radhakrishna Mai's house and now told the devotees to bring the ladder and place it against the wall of Mai's house, and descended on the rear side without anyone's help. It is more evident that aging can never curb the activities of Baba. At that time, Baba was very sick. Hence, he was in need of devotees to hold him to stroll. But from where did he get the strength to climb on the ladder and walk on top of the roof without any support? Isn't that amazing? Devotees, let's understand that no element can constrain what Baba has desired to do. He, the Parabrahman, out of mercy, has taken a human form for the sake of uplifting his devotees. The Supreme Being hence curtails his greatest powers and behaves like a human being with limitations, and at his will can reveal his true nature. The moment Baba stepped out of the ladder, he paid ₹2 to the person who got the ladder. Those who were with Baba felt that was a huge amount those days to pay for just bringing the ladder and placing it twice on the walls of the houses. One of them slowly asked Baba thus, "Baba, why should you pay a large amount for this simple work?" Immediately, Baba spoke thus, "Nobody should take another's labor in any way, free of charge. One can accept work from a person, but one should always evaluate a person's efforts and repay. One should discipline oneself never to take free services from anyone. So, was this the only reason for Baba to grant such a blessing to Venku Kamblekar? Can anyone understand the actions of the saints or read their minds? Never. One might be even able to measure the depth of the ocean or the height of the sky, but none can read the minds of the saints. Venku Kamblekar, though married for many years, had no progeny and he was longing to have a child. Now, after he received rupees 2 from Baba, he was blessed with 2 children. So, the remuneration of rupees 2 given by Baba for Venku's labor is implicitly a blessing from Baba to grant progeny to Venku Kamblekar. In Sri Sai SATCHARITRA, the name of the devotee and the connections to rupees 2 has not been recorded by Hemat Panji. Is this the only intention of Baba to climb upon the roof of those 2 houses? No, there is another significant point to contemplate. Radha Krishna Mai was suffering severely from malaria. She was shivering and very restless. So, Baba walked on the roof of Radha Krishna Mai to also ward off her malaria fever. None of the medications gave her any relief. Radha Krishna Mai herself was a great yogini. Though she possessed supreme powers, she suffered her lot of karma. But after this divine sport of Baba, Mai's fever reduced and was completely relieved from malaria. Though she has been suffering for many days, she never complained about it. Omniscient and all compassionate Baba never waits for his devotees to address their problems to him. He runs to their aid. Though he himself was sick and required support, Baba never bothered about his ailment, rather wished to relieve Radha Krishna Mai from her illness. With this most enthralling divine play of Baba, we are closing this chapter, Favor That Was Bestowed on Me. Now, devotees, we are moving to the 20th chapter, and that has been listed as the lesson of the essence of the Ishavasya. This is comparatively a small chapter, and in 135 OVs, Hemat Panji has explicated the entire chapter. First, let us try to gather some knowledge about this Upanishad. Om Ishavashyam idam sarvam yat kimcha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bunchita ma gridda kashyaviddanam. The Upanishad begins with the word Ishavasyam and so goes by the name of Ishavasyo Upanishad. 3 points have been stated in this sloka. Number 1, the metaphysics of the Satta, that is the relationship of God, world and soul. Number 2, Jiva and the world. And number 3, the duty of Jiva towards the world and Ishvara. All the Tattva Shastras deal particularly and specifically on these 3 matters. Ishvara's Satta, Jagat's Swarup, Jiva's Kartavya. This is metaphysics explaining the characteristics of the relationship of God, world and soul. All these factors have been stated in this very first sloka of this Ishavasya Upanishad. Firstly, of Ishvara's existence, secondly, the nature of the existence of the world, and thirdly, man's duty. Ishavasya Upanishad is a mantra Upanishad, and because this Upanishad is placed in the Samhitas, it is also known as Samhita Upanishad. Now let us continue to listen to the narration of Hemat Panji. This chapter mainly elucidates about how Baba clarified the doubts of Dashkanu Maharaj, who had started to write the commentary Isha Vasya Bhavarta Bodhini, in which some meaning was ambiguous. Hemat Panji begins this chapter by citing the glorious form of Baba. He says, originally Sai is without a form. For the sake of his devotees, he has taken a form and participated in the drama as an actor, along with the actress Maya. Devotees, let's contemplate on this. Why did Hemat Panji narrate Baba as an actor? It is because during the initial days of Baba's sojourn in Shirdi, Baba was identified as a mad fakir by the onlookers, and later they realized that he was not a mad fakir but the supreme Brahman who has come down to alleviate their madness from the material world and is a beacon of light and hope for those who follow his teachings. Now let us dive into the ocean of imagination and recall those blessed days in Shirdi when Baba was in his mortal coil. We shall now try to bring back the scenes of Madhyana Arati at Dwarakamai, after which the most compassionate Sri Sai Baba would come out of the masjid and distribute handfuls of udi amongst the devotees, and those devotees would also wait for this blessed moment to prostrate at his lotus feet, and with their hearts filled with joy and love would glance at the face of Baba, which is an epitome of love. Then they receive the holy ashes from the divine hands of Sri Sai Baba. Baba was very generous in distributing the udi. He would fill the palms of the devotees with the udi and then would take some on his right hand and rub it on their foreheads, using his right thumb by holding their head tightly with his left hand. While Baba smears the udi to one of the devotees, the rest of them would clutch his holy feet, which is their only solace. In fact, all these blessed devotees would drench in the shower of udi, says Hemat Panji. All those who got udi smeared on their foreheads by the divine hands of Baba were drenched in the shower of Baba's grace, while the others who hugged his feet were soaked in the shower of Baba's blessed ashes. Wow! What a divine sight to behold! Baba's love for his children didn't stop there. His heart was filled with abundance of love, which outpoured through his divine eyes by his loving glance and mouth in the form of words. To some, Sai said, "Bow, go and have your meals." To few, he said, "Anna, go and eat your delicious lunch. Go to your own homes." Like this, he addressed each one in a unique way. This reminds me of the Rasa Leela of Sri Krishna. The love gopis felt for the Lord Hari was not bodily, it was divine love. The gopis were the Rishi Munis who were saddened that they did not meet Lord Rama during his exile of 14 years in forest, born as gopis to fulfill their desire as they were promised by the Lord himself. During the Rasa Leela, Lord Krishna promised the gopis that he will dance with each one of them, one to one. So, on the bank of river Yamuna, gopis saw their beloved Sri Krishna near the Kadamba tree. Yogamaya decorated all the gopis from tip to toe. During the Rasa Leela, Lord Krishna stood in the center, surrounded by gopis in the form of circle, and with the help of his Yogamaya, Sri Krishna has made each gopis feel that he was dancing with her only. The gopis rejoiced in bliss with the company of Lord Krishna, and each one considered that it was just she who was most fortunate to enjoy that bliss. Similar was the feeling of the devotees when they were with Sri Sai Baba. Each devotee felt that Baba belongs to him or her only. This feeling is very natural for everyone as they were completely absorbed in the divine bliss of Baba. Frankly speaking, I should admit at this point that I would always feel very possessive about Baba, as though Lord's incarnation as Baba is only for me and I am the only child of Him to enjoy all His loving grace. I always had that pride in me. Now, being under the umbrella of Sai for these many years, Sri Sai Baba, out of mercy, has molded me so well and has given me the realization that I am just an atom from Him like every other being. He is in everyone. He has come for all of us, but only those who have accepted this truth and earns for his love gets more closer to Baba. And certainly they will get the realization that Baba is sitting inside them and using them as an instrument to do his services. No greater wealth or status in the society can be equated to this divine wealth. I always try to remember the sayings of Sai. Don't crave for worldly honor. Instead, try to get respect in my darbar. Devotees, when even a leaf cannot move without his ordain, how can we gain any respect in Sai's darbar? Even that is feasible only by his divine will. Baba's grace is for all. He spreads his hands and is ever waiting to embrace us. Sai is impartial. No matter if we deserve to receive all that he gives, still he keeps showering his blessings because he is the most compassionate one in the entire universe. Devotees, we shall listen about the essence of Ishavasya Upanishad and the purpose of Hemat Panji narrating the greatness of Buddhi in this particular chapter in the coming episode. Until then, we can bring the divine form of Baba standing at the entrance of Dwarakamai to our mind's eye and imagine that we are also getting the holy ashes smeared by Baba on our foreheads and enjoy the ecstasy of being in the divine presence of Baba. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.